Reinvention is the key to overcome new challenges and keep growing. Welcome to South Summit 2020. A new networking platform with a revolutionary live TV format to access and connect from any device, anytime, and anywhere. Join South Summit 2020 and multiply your business opportunities.
Tuesday, the 6th of October, and we are here in La Nave in Madrid for day one of South Summit 2020. My name is Oisin Lunny. I'm a journalist and professor, host of webinars and podcasts for the likes of Siemens, Advanta, and Harman, and I'm honored to be your host for the next 90 minutes. So today we're going to be looking at the category of health and well-being, and of course this topic is incredibly important as we're living through this global pandemic. And South Summit really has become a global benchmark of innovation, where every year the 100 most innovative startups compete for the grand prize in the South Summit 100 competition. So last year, the competition actually took place in a boxing ring, and it was incredible. And this year, obviously, this is the new normal. So we've got this incredible hybrid stage here. We've got judges in La Nave. We've got judges joining us on our video wall over here. And we've got special guests joining us from all over the world. We're going to be looking at the 4 fundamental pillars of health and well-being: physical, emotional, financial, and social, to bring the ideas of the most innovative startups together to the most innovative and visionary investors. We're also going to be speaking to some inspiring tech VIPs and thought leaders from the global ecosystem who will be sharing their insights and predictions here on the high-tech hybrid stage of La Nave. Now, don't forget, you can also tune into the parallel tracks of the future of work and education, and make sure you join our primetime sessions today when you'll hear from leaders like William Shu, the founder of Deliveroo, Wendy Kopp, Anna Botin, and the visionary Aubrey de Grey, and many more. So please don't miss it. We are here in Madrid, but we're also in New York, Singapore, Buenos Aires, Milan, London, Barcelona, and San Francisco. South Summit this year is more global than ever, and everyone is connected. So let's start on a high note with some really inspiring, really brilliant new technology from an incredible leader. It's a real honor to welcome to our virtual stage here Miguel Catalayud, who's an experienced CEO and social entrepreneur in the food and nutrition industry. He is the CEO of Iwi and Qualitas Health, an algae-based nutrition company that is very, very planet-friendly. They are building a sustainable and scalable platform to face the immediate world's food challenge of growing from 8 to 10 billion people by 2050. They grow algae in deserts using non-arable land, salt water, and sun as the main source of energy, and they're producing omega-3 and protein while supporting developing local and rural communities. They are the new farmers. Welcome, Miguel, to the stage of South Summit 2020. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you very much for inviting us today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so let's just talk about, I think it's an incredible idea. I'm a vegetarian myself, so I take my money already. I love it. Talk to us a bit about how you're producing more effective and efficient products by being plant-based and fully sustainable.
So let me start very quickly. I've been in the food business for over 20 years, in particular in the plant-based business. I used to grow over 350,000 tons of vegetables a year, more than 700 million pounds of vegetables for the people here in the US. So I know what plant-based nutrition is. And at the point, you need to make a decision. Is this sustainable? Is this something that we can scale forever? How are we going to feed all these people? At Iwi, our purpose is together, we create sustainable food solutions for everyone in our planet. So we really have a reason for being here. We have a reason to exist, right? Today, we are 7.8 billion people in this world. We are heading towards 10 billion people population by 2050, meaning within the next 30 years, we will go to 10 billion people. Today, you can see we are struggling. Sometimes there's not enough arable land. For sure, there's not enough fresh water. And Some areas of the world, they don't have even access to food or water. Imagine this 30 years from now with 10 billion people population. So how are we going to feed all those people? And the answer is doing more with less, right? So in our case, we have a very unique technology that allows us to produce much more using much less space and using resources that otherwise would not be utilized. If you see here on the screen, in an acre of land, you can produce about 20 pounds of essential amino acids from peas. You can produce about 71 pounds of essential amino acids from beef per acre per year. We produce 6,000 pounds of essential amino acids per acre per year with our unique algae. We grow a microscopic algae called Nanochloropsis, and the beauty is that we grow it using non-arable land and salt water. So why is that important? In order to grow conventional crops, you need arable land, which is becoming more and more scarce. In our case, we don't need that arable land. So our solution is not instead of the conventional crops, it's in addition to conventional crops. And that's the beauty of what we do. When we go to the use of fresh water, which is a big challenge in our world, you need about 9,000 gallons of fresh water to produce 1 pound of essential amino acids from peas. That is about 35,000 liters of fresh water. You need about 17,000 gallons of fresh water to produce 1 pound of essential amino acids from beef. We use 0. I mean, we put 5 because we clean the machines and all that. But in order to grow the algae, we need salt water or brackish water because we use a marine strain of algae. So why is this important? This is pictures of our farms in Texas and New Mexico. What we do is we just carve our farms in the middle of nowhere, using resources that otherwise would not be utilized. We are trying to create a minimum impact in those regions because even when they are deserts, they are also ecosystems, and we really respect those ecosystems. So we don't use concrete. We carve our ponds in the ground with minimum use of concrete just for the paddle wheels. We use water from the underground, is salt water or brackish water, but our harvesting technology allows us to use over 97% of the water we harvest over and over again. So basically we lose the evaporation water. So it's extremely efficient, extremely sustainable. We consume CO2 and we release oxygen. And we are just bringing, local jobs to those rural communities for the first time in decades. So we are really doing something impactful, not just for those communities, but also for the world. Because why are we doing this? We are producing 2 amazing products. One is a unique oil, a unique omega-3, but it's way more than omega-3. It's called Omega PL. And we also produce a very unique protein. There's something that I've learned through all this year is that it is easier to change the world than to change consumer habits. So you can have a product which is plant-based, you can have a product that is sustainable, but if it's not good, if it's not competitive in price, and if it's not bringing the customer what they are used to, they will not buy it consistently. We are upgrading a solution. We have a better product, we have a more friendly product, a sustainable and plant-based.
I love it.
Basically, that's the solution we have. Let me know. I just tried to give you a very quick overview of what we are doing. We are completely scalable. We have 2 farms, and now we are planning to open farms in different parts of the world because we can bring farming to places in the world where they could not even dream about farming.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Like I said, just take my money already. I'm all over it. I want to, invest in EV. I want to buy EV. That's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, Miguel. What an inspiring way to start our section, all about health and well-being. So ideas, a brilliant idea like EV. It's exactly what the South Summit 100 competition is all about, taking a spark of genius and connecting it with visionary investors to make inspiring, world-changing ideas a reality. So how does the competition work? Each startup will have a maximum of 3 minutes, and we are very, very tight on time here to present the idea to our amazing jury who are joining us here virtually and in person. We're going to meet them shortly. And after their 3-minute pitch, the jury can come up with a question, and they will have 30 seconds to ask a maximum of 2 questions to the startups who have just pitched. And the 5 criteria that our judges are using to evaluate the different pitches are innovation, scalability, team, viability, and investability. one of the most important of all. So we're very honored to be joined here today in La Nave in person by two very esteemed guests. So it's a pleasure to welcome you, Mariel Vasquez, the Customer Experience Director of Savia by Mapfre, and also to Jorge Garcia Salgado, who does Global Portfolio Management at Wyra. And now we're going to stroll over here and meet our heavyweight championship panel of judges joining us virtually, who include Susana Espinosa de los Reyes from Angel Ventures, Andrea Segada from Ferrovial, Paul Bolardi from AXA Venture Partners, Laura Connell from Boulderton, and Lily Wang from Expon Capital. And as you can see there, many more technology VIPs who you will meet, no doubt, over the course of the next 90 minutes. So today we're going to be breaking down our program into 4 blocks, which are pharma, medical prevention and diagnosis, digitizing health, and wellness. So let's get the ball rolling with pharma. Now, this is a sector to which the world is currently looking for a vaccine for COVID-19, and they are working really hard to make this a reality. According to the European Federation of Pharmaceutical Industries and Associations, there are more than 100 vaccine candidates in development worldwide, and over 600 clinical trials underway to find a treatment to fight against COVID-19. And they even have their own hashtag if you want to find out more. That hashtag is We Won't Rest. So bravo to the hardworking companies in pharma for everything you're doing to help us all. Let's meet some future stars of pharma. Our first pitcher in the pharma section of our Startup 100 competition heat today is Klexbio, and they are joining us all the way from North. And their CEO and co-founder, Armand Giahati, will be using his 3-minute exam to explain how they save lives by engineering patient-specific tissue transplants. Klexbio is microbiology enabling life. The stage is yours, Armand.
More than 90 people die every day because they do not get an organ transplant in time. The need for organs is growing rapidly, but there is no technology to meet this gap today. In the interim, pharmaceutical companies are opting to primitive cell models to try to predict what happens when the drug enters the human body. Currently, there's a huge demand for tissue models that more accurately represents the human body, such that these drugs can be more successfully entering the market. However, organs that are engineered in a lab today are not alive. The state of the art looks something like the picture you see in the screen. This is supposed to be an ear. In reality, what it is, it's a gel with cells deposited inside. The current bottleneck in organ engineering is actually creating vasculature such that these organ models can survive outside of the lab environment. Current technologies are, however, not able to print at the resolution that is required to create these vasculature structures in a way that is also friendly to the cells. Entering Klex, our proprietary hydrogel technology that allows us to engineer life through the creation of blood vessels. What you see in this video is the deposition of living cells on a scale of a human hair. Our technology is 10 times more cell-friendly than our competitors. We can reach 100 times higher printing resolution, and it's plug-and-play compatible with any biotech hardware, including 3D bioprinting setups to microfluidic chips like you see on this video. We have a strong science backbone. We have IP protection that we own fully in the company, and we have endorsement from leading industry players from 3D bioprinting all the way to the pharmaceutical industry. The market potential is huge, from the R&D side to the clinics, and we're planning to enter this in a staggered approach. Our overarching vision is to create patient-specific vasculature, blood vessels, that we can later use in the clinical setting. This is a long and risky road. We're de-risking this by developing a commercial arm where we'll B2B supply of R&D consumables and co-develop products such as bioassays, but also work with food and cosmetic players that could benefit from our technology where we can undergo a licensing agreement while we're working towards the end goal, which is then making these blood vessels that we can enter in the clinic and then access the bigger market share. We have a strong team with science degrees from leading academic institutions and industry experience, backed by a global network of advisors that will help us succeed in our mission. Since we kicked off in 2020, we've won national competitions in Norway, been featured in multiple magazines, partnered with leading R&D and CROs around the world, landed about $800,000 in non-dilutive grants for R&D activities and commercial activities, kickstarted our product development, entered South Summit 2020, and entering now prestigious mentoring programs. We're closing our seed round looking to raise another $300,000 to $500,000 such that we can hire 2 more talents to enter the team. Thank you.
Oh, nice job. Okay, brought it in with 3 whole seconds to spare, so brilliant work there, Armand. And I do like it when our finalists actually mention South Summit 2020 in their South Summit 2020 pitch deck. I think that's a nice touch. Okay, so how this works is our judges in La Nave here and our judges on the screens, if they have any questions, if there's anything you would like to ask the last pitcher, just raise your hands. Raise your hands in cyberspace, raise your hands in La Nave, and we will connect you with the pitcher on this screen over there, and you can ask them directly a question in real time. Were there any questions about the microbiology, the microtechnology enabling life of Klexbio? Okay, our judges are shy today, or maybe that was just an amazing presentation. Oh, okay, we have a hand here from Alice Chen. Thank you so much. Any hands in La Nave? Okay, going once. Okay, Alice, wonderful. Would you like to come over to the big screen over here and you can speak directly to Armand? Thank you. Your 30 seconds of question time starts now.
Thank you very much. I'll keep it short. So can you talk about the tissue types that you have used for this platform, and also do you have collaborators lined up at this time? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for the excellent question. So the tissue types that we've been primarily focusing on have been bone tissue. So we've been working with stem cells, mesenchymal stem cells, but have now started moving towards organoid setups. In terms of our collaborators, we have collaborators all the way from commercial players that work in the space, organoid companies, 3D bioprinting companies, but also R&D institutions globally, ranging from Norway to the US.
Thank you very much.
Great answer. And again, brought it in with 3 whole seconds to spare. Impressive work. Do we have another question from the jury? We don't have to have another question, but there is room for 1 question. Going once, in La Nave, going twice. Any hands being raised for questions? No, Alice asked the question that everyone was thinking of. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move swiftly on to our next amazing startup, which is beaming in from the US of A. They are Xylo Therapeutics, and they have an innovative sustained release topical delivery system that uses patented zero-gel-derived silica particles called Z-Pods to deliver therapeutic and cosmetic agents through topical administration. So Xylo converts ordinary products into game changers, and their CEO and founder, Scott Pancoast, is here for the next 3 minutes to impress our jury with Xylo Therapeutics.
Hi, I am Scott Pancoast, CEO and founder of Xylo, the disruptive delivery company. What does Xylo do? We make sand. Not your ordinary sand, but patented and elegantly engineered sand called Z-Pods. Z-Pods turns ordinary products into game changers. Example, lidocaine patches patch, a time-release topical CBD, longer-lasting topical THC, pesticide-loaded Z-Pods that help save the environment, and a multitude of other product concepts. Proof point 1, we make good stuff last longer. Proof point 2, we do what a patch does, better in fact, but without the hassles of a patch. What problems are we solving? Our Z-Pod platform provides not only extended release, but also increased stability, targeting, and penetration. It all adds up to enhanced bioavailability, a holy grail of topicals, and sets the stage for disruption. Is this all making a difference? Well, in a lupus model, the lupus lesions continue to progress when treated with AEA without Z-Pods. That would be the red line. Put that same AEA into our Z-Pod system, the green line, and the lesions regress, many of them disappearing altogether. Does our sand sell? Well, as you can see here, Xylo is on a roll. All of these big dollar partnerships are getting signed, and look at the versatility of the technology. From cannabinoids to lidocaine, pesticides, to, you got it, erectile dysfunction. And hot off the press, we have a budding relationship with a Spanish cosmetics house that could be a breakthrough for Xylo and a game changer for our Spanish partner. Competition. Yes, we have competition, but it is limited and it is certainly peripheral. We have never lost an account to a competitor. Turning to our team. I was in the venture industry for 20 years and have served on 16 boards. I built a world-class team at my last publicly traded company, and I'm well on my way to doing the same thing here at Xylo. On to our projections. Xylo will have a breakout year probably in 2022. This might even be a breakout decade for Xylo. We had an oversubscribed Series A and are now starting to seek Series B funding. This should be our pre-merger round or our pre-IPO round. The head of the Nanodermatology Society said it well. Our technology is next generation, and it is simply transformative. Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. What a confident pitch there. He was telling us that Xylo Therapeutics was the holy grail of topical administration. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so now we have 2 question slots available. If anybody has a question about that very thorough and well-delivered deck with projections, competitors, graphs, etc., any questions from our esteemed panel of judges, just raise your hand and we will get to you. Or raise your hand here in La Nave if you had a question for Xylo Therapeutics. Any questions for Xylo Therapeutics? I'm going to stand here for a few more. So yes, we have a question over here from Hans Muntekas, who is joining us virtually. So Hans, come over here from IE University, and Hans Muntekas will be speaking to Scott Pancoast. And your 30 seconds starts now. Thank you.
Hi, Scott. Thanks for a great presentation. My question is very simple. Have you defined any customer groups for your product so far?
Yes, we actually have signed agreements. We have a pharma partner for that AEA loaded Z-pods to treat lupus. We actually have a signed agreement for the THC loaded Z-pods, a California company, as you probably would have guessed. So they're going to make what is called a lidocaine patchless patch. They branded it Hourglass. We are in the midst of a CBD partnership. And we have a signed agreement with that ag chem company.
And I'm afraid that's all we have time for. I'm so sorry, but that was a great answer. I think you really covered it. And thank you, Hans, for that great question. Okay, we do have time for one more question, if there are any more questions. I was pretty impressed there. I have a friend who'd suffered from lupus for a long time, and she would be very interested to see that presentation. Any questions, any more questions for Xylo Therapeutics? I'm going to look around these screens of our wonderful VIP judges. Look over here. No, there are no questions. Okay. Yes, oh, there is a question. Right. Where was that question? I beg your pardon. Sorry, I have our amazing production team who give me hints in my ear here. So Paul Bolari from AXA Venture Partners, please come over here and have a chat with Scott Pancoast. Your 30 seconds of time starts now.
Thank you, Scott, for the presentation. My question related to pricing, actually. How would you compare to other vectors and other kind of technologies in the market?
Yeah, we are making sand. We really are. It's a highly engineered silicon dioxide particle that happens to be porous, where the pores collapse when we do certain things in our process. And we can be competitive. We think we drive enough value that we can charge premium pricing, which we're doing thus far. But when needed in the over-the-counter or cosmeceutical markets, we can be competitive with liposomes and microsponges, and we think we can undercut them as needed.
Wow, you brought that in exactly on 30 seconds. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on for that to our next startup. Thank you for that brilliant question there. So we're going to stay with the US companies, and now we welcome Vega Therapeutics to our virtual battleground. They are developing a novel gene therapy to treat severe and chronic pain. To explain their next generation pain management to the judges, we are joined by their CSO, Fernando Aleman. Take it away, Fernando. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fernando Aleman, and I'm the co-founder and chief scientific officer of Vega Therapeutics, where we are tackling the opioid epidemic with our gene therapy to treat chronic pain. There's a huge issue of pain in America, where more than 30% of Americans are living with some sort of chronic or severe pain. Worldwide, around 1.5 billion people are affected, and opioids are just not cutting it. We are currently undergoing an opioid epidemic in the US. And indeed, last year, one person died every 15 minutes due to an opioid overdose. So at Navega, we have developed a gene therapy that is highly specific, non-addictive, and long-lasting. We were inspired by nature. There are humans with a mutation in this sodium channel that feel no pain whatsoever. And we have imitated this process without introducing the mutation and validated our therapy in 3 different pain models: inflammatory pain, chemotherapy-induced pain, and BCATP-induced pain. Other companies have tried to inhibit NaV1.7 as well. Small molecules are the traditional approach. However, these are not specific and have some side effects. Antibodies can be highly specific. However, they usually lack potency because they bind to an open or closed conformation. Other gene therapies include RNAi and oligonucleotides. The issue with these therapies is that they bind to RNA, they inhibit RNA, and therefore, since there's a significant turnover, they are not that long-lasting. Since we are binding to DNA, we can be highly specific and also long-lasting. There's also a huge market opportunity, but we will focus first in erythromelalgia, which is a rare disease with the opposite mutation, a painful gain of function. This will allow us for fast FDA approval. We are done with our rodent proof of concept. We moved to JLab San Diego. We hired staff with the money from 2 grants, and we are now raising 20 million to get to IND filing with the FDA. There are several exit opportunities similar to other small pharma companies like ours. In our company Traction, we raised 1 million in non-dilutive funding through the 2 grants I mentioned before. We licensed 3 patents from UCSD. We obtained a Defense Innovation Award, and most importantly, we have evidence of efficacy in 3 in vivo preclinical pain models. We have a great team. Ana Moreno is the founder and CEO, and most of the work is coming from her PhD. She's also the co-inventor of the 3 patents that we licensed from UCSD. And I'm a pharmacist by training with a doctorate in molecular biology and a postdoc in immunology at the Scripps Research Institute. And on the business side, we have seasoned biotech executives and financial experts from Stanford. And in the scientific advisory board, we have pioneers in CRISPR-Cas9, zinc-fingered experts, and pain specialists and researchers that will help us to get to phase 1 clinical trials. Thank you, and I'll take any questions. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Fernando. That was such an interesting pitch. 1 person dies every 15 minutes in the States as a result of an opioid overdose. Could this be the solution? Do we have any questions about Vega Therapeutics to send over to Fernando? Who would like 30 seconds with Fernando? I'm looking here in La Nave. I'm looking at our amazing wall of VIP judges who are remaining very thoughtful, taking lots of notes. And one thing I was reflecting on there was just the fact that, you know, what you're seeing is not just the best of the best in terms of the entrepreneurs, many thousands of entrepreneurs who've pitched to this competition. You're really seeing some master storytelling as well. To get all of that into 3 minutes is so impressive. Are there any questions? Okay, we have a question here from Alice again. Thank you so much. Come and join us over here on this screen. And you can have 30 seconds with Fernando starting right now.
Thank you for the presentation. Can you elaborate a little bit on the animal models that you use and perhaps the dosing regimen?
Yeah, so we have used e to the 12 viral particles per mouse, and the mouse models in 30 seconds, we have used chemotherapy-induced pain, so we induce pain with paclitaxel, and then we can reverse pain or we can prevent pain from happening. We have done several types of pain models. We use Bonfrey, we have used also Hargreaves assays, and acetone imitating cold pain.
Okay, and those are your 30 seconds. Thank you. My goodness, and I just want to stress that, you know, these are not just any ordinary judges. These are world-leading subject matter experts. That was Alice Chen there from Accelerator Life Science Partners with the question I wish I understood, but I absolutely don't. But obviously, Fernando understood it and gave a brilliant answer there. So do we have any more questions from our esteemed panel of jury? Going once, going twice? Okay, so we are going to move on and have a chat with a really fascinating innovator in health and well-being. Maria Cordon is the CEO of Blue Healthcare. She is a doctor by training with an MBA at the Instituto de Empresa de Madrid, and she is the former CEO of the Cordon Hospital Group, where she led a merger with the USP Group and the acquisition of the Technon Group in Barcelona to form the largest private hospital group in Spain. Awesome. And she's as many of you will know, she's a regular speaker in the health sector congress and forums in Spain, and also somehow has time to lead her own family office. Welcome, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you to you to invite me.
Great to see you here. So you obviously have a lot of experience in the sector, and you're recognized for this in the industry. Tell us a bit about the aspect of personalized and precision medicine and how it's linked to preventative medicine and longevity.
Yes. Well, that's a very, very important thing to talk about.
Yes.
First of all, I am really impressed about the South Summit of this COVID year.
Clara.
So congratulations. It was so difficult to organize, and I think it's awesome. You have done.
Wonderful.
So
well, full credit to Maria and a brilliant production team here. We're going to give you a little tour of the studio later.
Well, so that's innovation.
Stay tuned.
Innovation. You need to be
For that, absolutely.
like that. Okay, so, well, longevity and innovation. I think that the future of medicine has to be redefined.
Yes.
Because we are always thinking about disease, about illness, and the model has to change from a model that is thinking in illness to a model that is thinking in health.
Yes.
To prevent illness, to prevent disease.
Absolutely.
So I think that's easy to say, but it's very difficult to do.
Sure.
From the hospital and doctor vision to the economic vision also.
Yes.
It's cheaper to think in health than thinking in illness when the disease is already in front of us.
Yes.
Medicine is not only about doctors. That is another idea that have to change. Medicine is a cross-disciplinary matter. It's about biology, mathematics, engineer, architecture, natural being. So all these disciplines have to join together and really fit medicine. So that's, I think, the essence of the innovative process we have to go in.
Fantastic. Wow. So those are some really inspiring words for all of our many thousands of viewers who are joining us today. Thank you so much, Maria. And that is all we have time for. We're going to move swiftly on.
Okay.
So Maria Cordon, the CEO of Blue Healthcare. Thank you. Muchas gracias for joining us.
Thank you.
Great to meet you. Okay, so now we are going to be moving on to block 2 of health and well-being, which is all about medical prevention and diagnosis. There's an old saying, as Maria was saying there, there's an old saying that prevention is better than cure, and I think this is really more relevant than ever. So, I mean, for myself, I'm very interested in wellness. I like to do a bit of yoga. I like to meditate. I think these are good ingredients. I look at what I eat vegetarian food. So for me to be here today personally and just meet all of these brilliant startups is just an absolute treat. And if you'd like to share your feedback on the brilliant speakers that we've had at South Summit, the brilliant guests, the inspiring startups, please do screen grab. I know you can't be here in person to take photographs or selfies, but maybe take a virtual selfie and share it using South Summit 2020. Tell us what you're doing while you're enjoying these great speakers. What did you think of Maria's speech there? What do you think of our incredible startups? So really, this world of connection is out there, and this is what South Summit is all about, bringing together the global ecosystem of innovators, folks with amazing new ideas, and the folks who can bring them to the global stage. So now we are going to welcome our next pitcher in the startup competition as we move into this area of medical prevention and diagnosis. Our next picture is MJN Neurosurveys from Spain, and their CEO, Jordina Arcal, will pitch their innovative headset that reads brain activity that, in combination with a mobile application and artificial intelligence, is able to warn a few minutes before an epileptic seizure. And those are some very important minutes, as you're going to see right now. Thank you, Jordina, for joining us. Your 3 minutes with the judges starts now.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jordina Arcal, and I want to talk to you about epilepsy. Do you know that there are more than 60 million people all over the world suffering from it? This is all France suffering from epilepsy, and it affects the 3% of the healthcare budget. This is 10 times China's GDP. Epilepsy comes from a Greek word meaning surprise attack. So it's unpredictable, and it causes accidents and injury. People suffering from it, it's also suffering from anxiety and stress. So there are many children all over the world that cannot go to school due to epilepsy, and adults are denied to work or even to drive. So they cannot carry a normal life. For them, we have developed our MJN Ceres. Ceres is a medical device. It's portable, discreet, and it's an earpiece that is able of recording the brain activity. The device is connected to a mobile app, and thanks to the artificial intelligence algorithm that we have developed, we are able to assess the risk of suffering a seizure, alerting patients minimum 1 minute in advance. So they can know when they are going to have the seizure, and they can put themselves on a safe position, for example, laying on a couch or sitting on a bed. Thanks to it, and thanks to the alerts we send to them, we can prevent accidents and we can alert from crises. So we can change patients and their beloved one's life, reducing and eliminating the uncertainty and the fear that causes the illness. So we can directly impact on the economic impact that the illness is causing. On the other hand, we can also provide to neurologists with better data to treat the illness and also to improve the research of it. There are many, many devices available on the market to treat epilepsy, but we are the only available device that is able to predict the seizures and alert patients with 1 to 3 minutes in advance. To develop it, we have formed a great team of experts. We are now 11 people in the team, covering all the areas to make the company a success, such as software, marketing, financial, business development, and quality. And we also are supported by an advisory and a clinical research committee, assessing us in the neurology part, data analysis, clinical, and legal. Thanks to them and the work that we have done, we have achieved more than 3.4 million euros in funding raised. We have obtained the ISO as medical device. We have patented our solution, and we have carried the clinical trials that demonstrate the clinical benefits of the solution. Thanks to it, we have obtained a CE mark that allows us to sell the device in Europe. We have also been recognized all over the world as one of the best medical solutions and IoT solutions. And our aim is to end up in 2025 with more than 40K units in the market, meaning 56 million euros revenue, using the e-commerce platform and also distributors to sell it all over the world. So now we are looking for 4 million euros to establish a company in Europe and also to start the USA market, where we already started the FDA procedure. With it, you will also help us on scaling up the company and also using the device, not only in epilepsy, but other neurological disorders that can be tracked through brain activity. So just to finish, I want to show you Alex and how you can improve Alex's life. Imagine that he can go to school without that helmet. He can have a normal life. That's what we want to do. So thank you very much and join us.
Thank you so much, Jordina. And apologies, I introduced you as the CEO, and you are, of course, the CSO of MJN Neurosurveys from Spain. How brilliant. Absolutely great. Yes, a unique product, the only one that does predictive solutions. Are there any questions for Jordina from our esteemed panel of subject matter experts and brilliant judges joining us from all over the world today? Just raise your hand if you have a question for Jordina. Any questions about MJN Neurosurveys, about that amazing earpiece that can predict? Yes, okay, we have a hand up there. Thank you. That's Lily. Do we have any questions down here? We're ready to go with Lily. Join us over here. Lily Wang from, I beg your pardon. Yeah, Lily Wang from Expon Capital. And Jordina, your 30 seconds starts now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordina. And my question is regarding what is the pricing, and can you elaborate a little bit more on the go-to-market strategy?
Yes, the price of, thank you very much for the question. The price of the device is 1,750 euros. And the go-to-market strategy is through the e-commerce platform that we have in Spain and at international level using specialized distributors that are experts on distributing devices for epilepsy.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lily and Jordina. That was a great question, a very good answer. Any more questions for Jordina? Just raise your hands. Any more thoughts? One thing that kind of struck me there was, we think of epilepsy as a self-contained, seizure, but of course there's the emotional impact, there's the impact of accidents. It has absolutely a huge impact. Yes, we have a question from our friend, from Jorge Garcia Salgado from Weira, who's very kindly joined us in person with our fabulous panel here. So, Jorge, if you would like to join Jordina on, you go ahead. And your 30 seconds starts now.
Okay, so Jordina, could you elaborate a bit more about how are you going to personalize the service for, as I read here, this annual subscription for a personalized service to the users?
Sure, thank you for the question, Jorge. So the personalization means that the algorithms are updating constantly, learning from patients' seizures. And what we are going to do is providing patients all the information that we gather from the electric brain activity. So generating reports that they can use with the doctors that are really valuable to track the illness or even to control the medication.
Excellent question. Thank you very much, Jorge. And that's all the time we have with Jordina. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to move swiftly on to our next exciting startup. Next, we are welcoming Xylo from the United Kingdom. They are enabling a new era of personalized medicine by using artificial intelligence and photonics to build a cloud-based library of disease biomarkers. And pitching Xylo today is their CEO, Luis Valente, who is going to join us and have his 3 minutes with our amazing judges starting now.
Good morning, everyone. We all know the social tragedy behind Alzheimer's. There's no cure, no treatment, but it's not for lack of trying. 14 years, more than 400 failed clinical trials, and still no new treatment. Why? The truth is, Alzheimer's is a very heterogeneous disease. There was a failure of one-fits-all drug approach, and the clinical trials that are supposed to output the treatment for the disease, they have major issues. They're invasive, they're difficult to access, and all of that causes 90% of the patients to drop out of the clinical trials. So how many more promising drugs will be abandoned and their evaluation seriously delayed because of these issues? This is a very serious question, and it's also our question. And the solution for it is quite simple. Xylo is a cloud-based platform focused on accelerating the development of personalized treatments for complex heterogeneous diseases such as Alzheimer's. We focus on photonics enabled by artificial intelligence approach that is able to get the nanoscale structures, a fingerprint of the nanoscale structures of biological fluids like blood. We store it in our cloud-based library, and it allows us to later match for the right patient for the right clinical trial. We are non-invasive, we're adaptable, we're fast, and above all, we're very low cost. We only use light and AI. It all starts by solving the problem of the industry, by recruiting right patients for the right clinical trial, but it doesn't stop there. And we want to move into the healthcare market with a risk assessment tool and a companion diagnostic. The value proposition is very simple, 40% cheaper, 70% faster, and above all, really convenient clinical trials. No more needle into the patient's back. Just on the Alzheimer's scope alone, our beachheaded market is more than 400 million a year, with the top 4 pharmaceutical groups, 2 of which we're working right now. And we have a vision of growing way beyond that and becoming a validated platform technology using AI to train and screen for other diseases and accelerate personalized treatments to help millions of patients around the globe. This is where we are right now. We raised more than 3 million of funding. We have 2 agreements with 2 global pharmaceutical groups, and we have won multiple startup and enterprise and industry awards, such as the CB Insights, the Forbes 30 Under 30, and the Altice Innovation Award. We really have a stellar team made of a mix of technical and management skills, which includes scientists, biologists, and inventors, with a passion of really tackling what it is one of the biggest epidemics of our time. Please join us in these missions to preserve Alzheimer's patients' memories around the globe. And I hope you can understand that this is indeed one of the biggest causes of our times. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Luis. That was brought in at exactly 3 minutes. An incredible use of AI, very, very impressive, and also a very impressive slide there with all of the awards on it. So will the South Summit Award be joining that slide? This is up to our incredible panel of judges here in the Nave and here on our virtual wall of awesomeness right here. So do we have any questions for Ilof from the UK with their impressive mix of artificial intelligence and photonics? Just raise your hand if you have a question for Luis. Or maybe he answered all of your questions. That's totally cool. It does happen sometimes. Raise your hand. I'm going to say going once. I feel like an auctioneer. Going twice. This is the last chance to ask a question for Luis. Okay, well, congratulations to Luis. He answered all your questions. That's brilliant. We're actually going to go back to our competition and meet one more startup whose name is NanoSynex from the startup nation of Israel. And joining us is Michelle Heyman, their co-founder and VP of marketing, to explain how NanoSynex is developing a diagnostic test that checks bacterial resistance in record time. So, take it away, Michelle Heyman. Your 3 minutes starts now.
The dominant life form on our planet is bacteria, and they're getting resistant while antibiotic less efficient on patients. Our mission at NanoSynex is to fight bacteria resistant with rapid diagnostic tests. Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'm NanoSynex co-founder and VP marketing. Bacteria not only prevent antibiotics from curing patients, but they can also spread in the environment, causing more infections that can lead to pandemics. No wonder the World Health Organization declared antimicrobial resistance as one of the biggest global threats today. And as many political leaders have been saying, a pandemic should be treated as a war, and we need to be prepared for the next one. A patient with an infection will get a prescription for a broad-based antibiotic. However, in 50% of the cases, this antibiotic is inappropriate, and it can cause bacteria resistance. The solution for this problem is prevention. We at NanoSynex use diagnostic to prescribe rapid personalized antibiotic treatment. Our test is based on a microfluidic platform containing antibiotics. The microbiologist inserts the bacterial suspension into the card. Then our software monitors the bacterial growth by fluorescent tracking. This allows doctors to prescribe personalized antibiotic to their patients in only 5 hours, which saves at least 1 day of hospitalization per patient. And our team is fully dedicated to this development. One of the main challenges of a startup is to build a team. In particular, in our case, since we're developing a biological assay, a hardware, and a software. Pulling this amazing multidisciplinary team together was one of our greatest achievements. I am a passionate founder with vast experience in marketing applied to life sciences. We are surrounded by a network of advisors, including the directors of clinical microbiology labs in leading hospitals in the world. And we are proud to be supported by top-level partners, such as the Israel Innovation Authority and the European Commission, from whom we received grants. We plan to sell our tests to clinical microbiology labs, and the worldwide market potential is huge, of 4 billion potential. Our competitors are medical device companies offering automated solutions. However, none of them is able to provide accurate results in less than 5 hours in a multiplex scalable fashion as we do. We created NanoSynex in 2017. Since then, we raised more than $2 million to develop our prototype. Our next milestones are to raise Round A and to bring this disruptive product to the market. Our product will affect each and every one of you. We invite you to join us in this war against superbugs. Thank you.
Fabulous pitch there. Wow. Well, you know, Israel is the startup nation, so they are very, very good at pitching and coming up with amazing ideas. That saves a day of hospital time per patient. That is very, very impressive. Do we have any questions for Michelle at NanoSynex? Any questions? As always, just raise your hand if there was anything in that presentation that you thought was missing. Okay, and we're going to go to Alice, I believe. Alice, if you would like to join us over here on the screen, and you can ask your question to Michelle, and she will have 30 seconds to answer.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for the presentation. Can you elaborate a little bit on the go-to-market strategy and whether you already have commercial partners in collaboration?
Sure. Thanks for your question, Alice. We plan to commercialize our products starting from Europe for two reasons. One, the first one, because it's close to Israel, so we can provide good customer service. And secondly, because we already have a very strong partner called Biocinex, is a distribution company. Since we're planning a B2B2B business model, it's important for us to have such a partner in our early stage. It's a very big company in Europe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Another great question from Alice Chen from Accelerator Life Science Partners. As you can see with the questions, the judges are calculating and formulating their decisions and making up their mind and prioritizing the different startups who are pitching today. So we really, again, do appreciate your time so much. These are real business leaders, they're subject matter experts. Their time is very valuable, and we're always grateful that you're joining us here. Speaking of which, we've got time for one more question. If anyone would like to ask one more question to Michelle about NanoSynex, just raise your hand. But it may be that that was all of the additional information that we want. There are no more questions. Okay, so now we're going to give the jury a little break to kind of think about the incredible talent and brilliant ideas that they just saw. And we're going to welcome on stage a couple of folks who are joining us here in the Nave. So please welcome Ignacio Diaz de Tresta, who is a cardiovascular surgeon, MD and PhD. Thank you so much for joining us, Ignacio. And joining him is Shema Castillo, who is the technical director, at IBM Cloud and Cognitive Software. And we were supposed to be joined by another guest, but we're just having a few issues there. So we're going to, hopefully they'll be joining us in a few seconds, but we're going to crack on with your good selves. Thank you so much for joining us here. So we're going to kind of talk about, the future of health, the healthcare sector, etc. So Ignacio, I wonder, could we look back at what's just happened, and could you maybe describe the sanitary collapse that happened in Spain during March 2020?
Well, as you know, we have here a close to collapse, either a collapse of the sanitary system, and as you know, many patients arrive to ICUs with a strong respiratory failure.
Yes.
They request breathing machines, and breathing machines in this moment were in a shortage around Europe. So we face a very severe problem of choosing which patient go to ICU, which doesn't go.
Yes.
And instead of wait in a coach looking at the TV, we decide to act. So we join a group of scientists, engineers, managers too, and we start building a new concept of breathing machine.
Amazing. And how did this kind of affect? There was a shortage of ventilator stock. So how did this feed into that situation?
Well, what is important is why we arrived to this situation. This is due that the technology for breathing machines is produced only in a small amount of countries around the world, basically China, Germany, and USA. The rest of the countries, we buy them. And the increase of cases around the world produce a difference between what we want and what we have. So we have to create the breathing machine.
Absolutely. And who was involved in this cooperation to bring this new machine?
Well, we were involved with many people. This is a success of a society, not only of our team. We are a reduced team of 10 persons, but we have the help of people like the actor Antonio Banderas, who support economically the product, singer Pablo Alborán, and even enterprises like Zurich Insurance and Endesa. And we have too the logistic health of many people, like Jose Minguez, and many other people who participate in what they could to achieve our goals.
Yes, and what is the goal? What's the eventual goal that you would like to see from the whole process in this brilliant collection of amazing people?
Well, the goal was to have a cheap and reproducible machine that could be assembled in any country around the world at a specific rate of one every 30 minutes. We have built 300 of these machines. We still keep producing more, and we are exporting them to countries in America.
Amazing. Where can people find out more about this? Is there information online?
Oh yeah, of course. This is a non-profit work. Our license is free. Anybody who needs the breathing machine can ask we for produce them, or they can produce by themselves in any country. So anybody, as far as they don't take profit for themselves, but for the people, can reproduce our work.
Amazing. Well, thank you. That's such an impressive initiative, and I think it's going to save many lives. So moving over to you, Shema, talk to us a bit about the main challenges for medical prevention and diagnosis from a technology point of view.
Well, I think from a technology point of view, the most important thing probably is the challenge we face around data, no? And all the processes.
Yeah.
I think, well, when we think about the patient, we think about the many data that are around not only the genomic data, or not only the clinical data, but also the kind of ecosystem around this kind of data. So ecosystem around the patient, insurance company, pharma companies, this genomic data, clinical data is sometimes is complex, no, to solve. And this is one of the things, well, IBM with the technology and with the cloud computing is trying to solve and to accelerate, no? To be the enabler for these kind of challenges.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, what do you think the role is of technology and IBM specifically in the healthcare industry moving forward?
Well, IBM has a long story about research, and for example, we have 12 labs around the world. We are focusing on data, AI, quantum computing. Wow. And it's very focused on solving these complex problems. No? For example, last week we announced that in 2023 we had 1,000 qubits. That is the measure, how to measure these non-polynomics problems that we will face in all industries, but mainly in the healthcare, for example. No?
Fantastic. And what kind of initiatives is IBM working on around the global pandemic, the COVID-19 issue?
Well, we have several initiatives, but for example, we have Watson for Citizens. In this pandemic, information is crucial, and we offer without any cost for 90 days these kind of initiatives in order to inform all the citizens, the new protocols, all the new laws. So that was a very important initiative, and we have also examples in Spain that it was very important for us because in the north of Spain, in the Basque Country, we have Vizcaya that they needed to have information, and we were able to put in live an application in 2 weeks with a cloud platform, with our IBM public cloud platform. It was a challenge. It was very personal, very emotional. Probably the most emotional project I've been involved in my 17 years of career. So.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Well, thank you both of you for everything you're doing. And we're actually going to be joined by a third guest now, who, using the magic of technology, joins us here on this amazing screen. Welcome, Rocío Arroyo, who is the founder of Amadix. Thank you so much for joining us. So,
thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
Hola. So, Rocío, talk to us a bit about how you see the future of health and the healthcare sector perhaps reinventing itself.
Yeah, the sector is definitely in the middle of reinventing itself. We see telehealth allowing interaction between doctors and patients through a webcam, avoiding, luckily, the patient going to the hospital and decreasing the risk of COVID-19 and other infections. I think today patients are taking on a very active role in the management of their health, of our health, thanks to mobile applications like virtual nursing assistants to reduce the emergency room visits, to a new mobile app. And now a virtual nurse can check your symptoms and book medical appointments for you, no need to type. So I think the sector as of today is facing every day more services available digitally. We saw how the UK National Health Service partnered with Amazon to allow elderly people to access to health information, asking Alexa questions like, what are the symptoms for COVID-19, or how do I treat a migraine? So this is different, a different animal, the healthcare sector today, and doctors are even able to work from home while performing long-distance surgery in a different country thanks to 5G technology.
Indeed, indeed. And just quickly, how do you think the COVID-19 pandemic has affected medical prevention and diagnosis, and what do you think the future holds?
I think it is seriously affected the diagnosis and the prevention, because the risk of infection by COVID-19 has increased, and diagnostic procedures have been delayed, and COVID is causing a significant backlog of screening colonoscopies, with millions of colonoscopies missed during these months of pandemic. So there's a clear need for alternative cancer testing options, because we will face additional thousands of deaths from colorectal, breast cancer, and other diseases during the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and I'm afraid that's all we have time for, but thank you so much for joining us. Rocio, Ignacio, and Shema, thank you so much. That was absolutely fascinating, and thank you for the great work that you're all doing. It was very emotional hearing about that, and you know, we are all very grateful. So wonderful. So now we're going to move on to the section of the day that is all about digitizing health. We've heard about some innovative technology solutions in the fight against COVID, and now we're going to look at the marriage of digital technology and the world of medical analysis. Medixen is a company from Spain who has created the first wearable device to painlessly deliver drugs through the skin, a needle-free smart patch. And joining us to claim his 3 minutes of time with our incredible panel of judges online and in the studio here in La Nave is Eduardo Jorgensen. Eduardo, the stage is yours.
Hello, I am Eduardo Jorgensen, medical doctor and CEO at Medixen, where we have created a needle-free smart patch for painless drug delivery through the skin, a device that was awarded by MIT as the Spanish Innovation of the Year 2017. We founded the company because needles are a pain in the ass, as confirmed by 80% of the users who are consistently rejecting them. And we still take 16 billion shots a year. I learned about this when a little girl with diabetes rejected the insulin injections in my hospital consult, saying that she had to take at least 3 shots per day, which means over 1,000 injections per year. So we invented a small piece of technology that can open micropores in the skin. It works generating harmless sound waves that increase the size of the natural skin pores temporarily, leaving enough room for big molecule drugs to go through, and closing again once we stop the device. And we built that piece into a wearable smart patch completely free of needles that can work with multiple different drugs like insulin, heparin, antibodies. In a typical use case, it is refilled with traditional drug syringes by the user, placed on the arm or the abdomen, and it takes less than 1 minute to fully deliver the required amount. We know that there are huge stakeholders in the drug delivery market, but these companies are failing to address the main user needs around comfort and needle-free technology. So we will be able to position our ultrasound smart patch because it is painless, wearable, and it offers a connected environment that allows telemonitoring. So far, we have protected our intellectual property, validated the technology on preliminary in vivo pig trials, raised over 1.5 million euros since 2015, and secured strategic international partnerships for manufacturing and distribution. Everything thanks to our wonderful team with over 15 professionals, including members that come from MIT or Philips Healthcare. And we will sell straight to consumer in a subscription model for 100 euros a month that will include the shipment of monthly disposables, which is the piece that you insert in the smart patch and you take off anytime you have used it. That way, we will increase our subscribers from 500 in 2023 to over 20,000 by 2026. We expect to reach agreements with pharmaceutical stakeholders to license the IP, for example, with Pfizer for IgG, Sanofi for heparin, or Lilly for insulin. We have just closed a bridge round of 600,000 euros at a 3 million euro pre-money valuation that will be invested in finishing miniaturization and animal trials by the end of the year, which will leave us in the position to raise a Series A of 4 million euros for human clinical trials that will end with the CE marking in 2022 and the Smart Patch market entry in 2023. So we hope that you join us to shape the future of healthcare and change the life of millions. Thank you.
Amazing. Medixen's needle-free smart patch. I'm just thinking of my friends who had diabetes and have been taking insulin since I met them in school. This is going to impact a lot of people. And we already have a hand up there. Okay, do raise your hands if you want to ask a question. So, asking this next question will be Nina Jeter from Project A. If you'd like to come over here and join us, your 30 seconds with Eduardo starts right now. Thank you.
Hi, Eduardo. Thanks so much for the great presentation. I think my question is around the business model. Why did you decide to charge the end user, the patients, which is kind of like going the scalable way maybe, versus kind of like trying to hack yourself into the healthcare system and maybe make it accessible for everyone? Look, that's my main question. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So the main goal, the holy grail, is of course to get to reimbursement either by the payers or the national industries, but we cannot be fully dependent on that business model. So we decided that the best option for the company in order to be sustainable is to launch it in a B2C model, because there's plenty of people needing this. There's trypanophobia affecting 10% of the population, which have extremely fear for needles. So first B2C, potential B2B with pharmas, and of course, in the end, reimbursement.
I'm afraid that's all we have time for that particular question. Thank you, Nina Jeter from Project A. That was absolutely brilliant. Do we have one more question for Eduardo? I'd like to ask the judges a question. Who thinks that needles are a pain in the ass? Raise your hand if you think needles are a pain in the ass. Okay. Pretty much all the hands are going up there. Okay, so keep your hand up if you'd like to ask Eduardo one more question. Sorry, any questions for Eduardo? I think we all agree that needles are a pain in the ass. Any questions here in the Nave? Going once, going twice. Okay, thank you so much, Eduardo. That was a great, great presentation. So we are going to move on to our next pitcher. Like video conferencing and working remotely, telehealth has really become mainstream during the pandemic. And our next pitcher is a telehealth app leader in Spain and LATAM that allows patients to chat with their physicians and specialists and receive an instant answer. Mediquo is a hospital in your pocket. And joining us now from Spain is the CEO of Mediquo, Bruno Cuevas. Bruno, the stage is yours, and your 3 minutes starts now.
Hi, I'm Bruno Cuevas, co-founder and co-CEO of Mediquo. 3-minute pitch, let's go. So Mediquo, with over 1.5 million medical consultations and 600,000 app downloads, is already one of the top telehealth apps in Spain and LATAM. So the problem today is that 75% of the medical visits are unnecessary to be taken face-to-face. Also, most health professionals are already using instant messaging platforms such as WhatsApp to communicate either with the patients or with other health professionals. With Mediquo, we have a data-compliant platform that is chat-based, allows video and audio, of course, with medical history and prescriptions, B2C communities, instant medical response, phone privacy, all in a one-stop shop, wherever, whenever. So why now? Instant messaging is already the widespread communication channel worldwide. This is asynchronous communication. Translated to healthcare means continuity of care. Asynchronous means also increased efficiency, being able to attend 5 times more patients in the same amount of time and thus lowering the ever-growing healthcare costs. Also, other solutions are video conference focused. That's no engagement, no activity, no community, and also means no continuity of data because patient is lost after the consultation. We are a single platform and 3 different products: Mediquo app for patients, Mediquo Pro app for pros, and the desktop version for pros. Super simple UX catered for the end user. The market is huge. Projected in 2025, mobile health and telehealth combined would be $277 billion US. And these are pre-COVID numbers. Now the market has just exploded. There are other players, of course, but none of them do what we do. We are both a telehealth and a SaaS marketplace company. We are also agnostic of having public health administrations, insurance group, or private hospitals within us, along with the private end user, patient, and doctor. We are here to substitute the biggest telehealth company in the world, which is WhatsApp. We have proven traction in both user growth and monetization. Our business model, 2 lines: adding value to the patient, 24/7 instant medical response, adding value to the pro, plug and play out-of-the-box SaaS solution, all embedded in our communities. Our team, co-CEO, co-founder, Dr. Guillem Serra, medical doctor, mathematician, entrepreneur at heart. I'm a civil engineer, marketplace specialist. I have run, operated, and managed over 16 marketplaces across the globe. Judith Segura, responsible for the success of Wallapop in Spain, and David, our CTO, has done this platform from scratch with patents and connectivity and productivity. Top-notch advisors and investors in healthcare in Spain. We are looking for a 1 million tactical funding round now and a Series A in 9 months. Our ambition is global, and we want to improve health worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno, co-founder and co-CEO of Medicuo, or Mediquo, as maybe it's pronounced in Ireland. So do we have any questions from our judges from Medicuo? Okay, I see a hand up there. I'm looking, we have a hand over there. Okay, so maybe we should come to the screen first. Oriol, okay, Oriol Juncosa, nice to see you again. I think we've met at a previous South Summit. Come over here, Oriol, and you can have a question, and Bruno has 30 seconds to answer.
Hi, Bruno. Thank you for the presentation. I would be curious to ask you about your expansion plans. Okay, I mean the market is already a bit crowded internationally. So how are you going to become really a global player and a leader in your sector?
Well, thanks for the question. We are already present in Spain and full Latam. We've also opened in Brazil. Basically, we're basing our expansion with agreements with commercial distributors. Okay, we have this already in Spain and Portugal. We have it all across Latam because this brings us being fast, being scalable, being more trusted, and also allows us not to have operational costs on our side, and we are on a revenue share basis. So it's a win-win scenario.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you for that question, Oriol from Encomeda, Smart Capital. And we have met at previous South Summits. That's the thing, you connect and you make friends for life. Make sure you do, even though we're virtual, use the app. Okay, do we have any hands here for the next question for our brilliant pitcher? So just raise your hand. So we're gonna, Russ, right, I see a hand over here, wonderful. So join me as we walk over this beautiful stage here with these gorgeous big screens put together by our fabulous production team. And we are going to come to Mariel Vasquez, who is the Customer Experience Director at Sevilla by Mapfre. So Mariel, the stage is yours, and Bruno will have 30 seconds to answer your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bruno, for your presentation. My question is about what have you thought to get the user go back to you once and again and have engagement with your service, and to avoid users that just come, pop your service and use only once and go away maybe forever?
Thanks for the question. So we have several business lines that actually involve each other nurturing one another, right? So on the 24/7 service, I agree, this is something we want to reduce the churn with the increased communities. That brings a sense of belonging and wanting to come back. On the SaaS platform itself, you are always going to come back because you're dealing with your own doctor, right? Or your own health professional. So combined, we believe we have all the ingredients to make the user stay.
Fabulous. While we're here, what's your take on telehealth? Do you think it's an idea whose time has come? What's your perspective?
Yes, of course. And, you know, with this situation, the current situation in the world, we have gone through this progressive transition that we've come, we've left the time when people thought, I would prefer to have the face-to-face consultation, and I love the human touch in the consultation and all that, to that situation where I would never go to the consultation. Now I'm afraid of going to the consultation, and I prefer not to go unless I'm forced to.
Yes.
So as nobody could imagine a year ago or even 6 months ago,
yes,
we have come to a situation where telemedicine has become a daily routine, something that hasn't needed to be explained, something that has been adopted by users, being required from them, and not only by professionals and companies and all that. So yes, telemedicine, I think that has come to stay, and well, the current situation speaks by itself.
Absolutely, and Marielle, so telemedicine is the new normal. Do you think that artificial intelligence has a role in how it's going to be deployed throughout society? And talk to us a bit about that, if you don't mind.
Of course, because artificial intelligence has a lot to say in prevention, as Maria said. A lot to say in building models to predict and to avoid what may happen without that artificial intelligence. So I think that this is the right time to be collaborative and cooperate with all those big talents and startups or big companies, whoever, that works on that, building models, algorithms that have come here to help people, not only professional, not only medical people, medical professionals, but the own individuals to get control of their health, and to be aware that prevention, as Maria said, is the main point to avoid the illness, or, the focus has to be in good health before being ill.
Absolutely, yes. Well said. Prevention is better than cure, and artificial intelligence is part of our tools to help that happen. Thank you so much. Sorry to spring that on you. I'm just curious. We have such great people in here. Sometimes you can't resist asking them a question. So that was Marielle Vasquez, who's a Customer Experience Director at Savia by Mapfre. So now we are going to take a break from the pitches to chat with a very brilliant medical professional whose work focuses on finding the best ways to exploit the power of data to help with some of the world's leading challenges, both from the technical innovation as well as the public policy point of view. So our next guest, Maria Crispin, is a Boryasevich Biomedical Sciences Fellow and Research Fellow at the University of Cambridge, a Senior Program Director at IE School of Global and Public Affairs, and a Computational Group Co-Lead at the Mark Foundation Institute for Integrated Cancer Medicine. Thank you so much for joining us, Mariella. It's great to see you. Or Maria, I beg your pardon. Okay.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting to be here today.
Ah, wonderful. I love the background as well. That's really nice with the fireplace. And this can be a little bit voyeuristic. You're getting to see into other people's homes, but I love your background. You could sell that as a Zoom background. It's perfect. A lot of your work revolves around healthcare, artificial intelligence, in particular, the creation of machine learning models for cancer and the development of a European framework for healthcare AI integration. And we've been hearing today a lot about digital health in recent months. In your opinion, what's the current situation of AI applied to healthcare from a practical point of view?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. Well, there are two key ingredients that have enabled the revolution in digital health. Number one, the digitalization of health data, and number two, the arrival of advanced data mining and AI techniques. So we can now automate and even do a better job at some of the tasks that healthcare professionals have traditionally conducted in a qualitative or semi-quantitative way. So the question, as you were saying, is where are we at from a practical point of view? And it's actually something that we were wondering at the Center for the Governance of Change at IE University. And so we recently did a study of the status of healthcare AI in Europe. And in one of the papers of our report, what we showed was that digital health innovations are developing across Europe, interestingly, with some countries dominating the landscape, particularly Germany, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, and France. So innovation is happening. The advances are very promising, but with some exceptions, a lot of the AI developments have focused on technological upgrades of particular moments of care, so pathology, radiology, as opposed to redesigning care pathways. In other words, improving the way that patients experience care. And so the next question would be really, why have we not seen significant changes yet in healthcare? And the answer, as always, is because there are still important challenges. And there are, first of all, the development challenges. And one of the speakers was talking about this just a couple of minutes ago. Dealing with data, annotating, curating, sharing data, it is still one of the biggest bottlenecks for most AI applications. And we're also becoming more and more aware of the many biases that these algorithms can have. So that's a huge issue. And then there's also the implementation challenges, from addressing skills gaps to understanding the public professional perception and finding the best ways of integrating these technologies into the care pathways. But in my opinion, what we need to understand is that it is particularly in these challenges that the most important opportunities can be found. So, for example, including patients in the design process will not just make sure that AI solutions have maximal impact, but also it has the potential of making the process more efficient. It'll help with decision making, and it eventually, it'll actually empower patients, which is what this is all about, putting patients at the center of healthcare.
I love it. Patient-centered healthcare. That's fantastic. Hold that thought. Just if we could kind of just put this in a context, how has the pandemic affected how we're looking at these challenges in particular, and have we learned anything through the pandemic?
Yeah, another great, very timely question. So I would say that there are two very important learning points. The first one is validate, 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 and validate again. Because the progress that we have made in regards to AI and digital healthcare in a matter of weeks, months, could have taken years under normal circumstances. But this means that the speed at which we have arrived at this point means that it is more important than ever to monitor the advances carefully, to really ensure that patients are receiving the best possible care, and to earn the trust of the clinical community and the general public. Avoiding missteps at this time will be critical, not just for the management of the pandemic, but also to ensure the credibility and the future of digital AI-powered healthcare. And this is actually not true only about AI, but also other large-scale data analyses. And we have seen examples of high-impact papers being retracted, or test and trace apps being delayed and retired. And this will not be forgotten easily. So we really need to earn that trust. And then the final point, the second and final point, is that there is really a need for open and transparent dialogue. Health challenges do not understand about borders, and particularly across Europe, we have seen in our studies that there are differences between the way that different countries approach AI innovation, but there are also many things in common. And there are challenges such as questions about data diplomacy, or the other questions that we were talking about earlier, that can only be solved if we have an open, transparent, inclusive, and international conversation. So that's something that I'm very interested in. I think it's really the future for this field.
Absolutely. Wow. Amen. So I just want to say thank you so much for everything you're doing, Mireia. Good luck and Godspeed. And again, that was really fascinating. And I will leave you to repose in that beautiful background. And I hope to see you in the real world sometime. Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations for the summit.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, we are going to invoke our amazing panel of judges in the studio and virtually on our wall of screens over there for our next startup, who is joining us all the way from Latvia. Arsene Sergiev is the co-founder of Veritacell, and Veritacell is the simplest point-of-care medical kit for surgeons to regrow patient skin faster and better by using their own cells. Amazing. So, Arsene, your 3 minutes with our amazing judges starts now.
40 million people. 40 million people suffer burns each year. 4 million of them have to be hospitalized. The standard treatment for burns is skin transplantation, but it is a lengthy, risky, and painful process for patients, and is costly for hospitals. Even after the treatment, when everything heals, intense scarring remains with the patients forever, as a reminder of the terrible accident. Patients suffer. And it is true also for other complex wounds. I know that because I started a company when my grandma was in the hospital with a hardly healing wound after surgery. So to solve that, we created the simplest point-of-care medical kit for surgeons to quickly extract and reapply skin cells onto the wound. The surgeon just takes a small piece of healthy skin from the patient, runs it through the Verticell kit procedure, and pours the cells onto the wound to heal. The whole procedure takes just 30 minutes right in the operating room, covering at least 5 times larger wound area. It accelerates healing and reduces treatment costs at least 20%, reducing pain and aiming to prevent scarring at all. Ahead of our competitors, we're first to provide higher quality in one kit. Better simplicity in terms of use right in the operating theater, and true adaptability to the needs of surgeons. We already have 2 commitments for first case studies. We'll be entering into a cooperation with a leading research institution in Europe to advance the product to treat chronic wounds as well, and we'll also be entering the aesthetic surgery market. Due to our product classification, we don't need preclinical studies. So in 9 months, we plan to be entering the European market for burn care, the market where we can make the most impact. Because of our regulatory shortcut, we've already planned our go-to-market strategy in 3 key stages. It goes from generating data and awareness in the professional community to communicating the cost-benefit advantages and to working with more hospitals and scaling the impact. And the impact is something that drives us. We're 4 Latvian entrepreneurs in a team with 2 cell biology experts from the University of Huddersfield in the UK. We're advised by former C-level executives from the top medical device companies, as well as the top burn surgeon. We have a strong team. We're very close to the market, and the industry understands and needs our product. We're planning to launch and sell the first 1,000 kits within the next 18 months. For that, we're raising 3 million euros. My name is Arseni. I'm co-founder of Verticell. Together, we can end patient suffering of 4 million burn patients and more. Contact me, and we'll figure out how.
Ending the suffering of 4 million burn patients. My goodness, I do not envy the task of our judges to choose 2 finalists out of this incredible selection. So, speaking of which, I'm looking in La Nave, I'm looking at our wall of screens here. Did any of you have any questions for Arseni from Verticell, that incredible tool that helps surgeons regrow patients' skin faster and better using their own cells? Any questions? I'm going to look slowly at all the judges. I'm looking them all in the eye just to see. Okay, they are all taking notes. They're making their thoughts. They're prioritizing. Any comments over here? Okay, fabulous. So, congratulations, Arseni. You have made a 0-question presentation. You answered all of the questions of the judges. So, well done. Thank you. So, we are going to move directly on to our next fabulous startup. They are Expert. They are a medical AI company developing ways to use smartphones and wearable devices to track behavior and lifestyle to predict and prevent health risks. They believe that daily smart support is the key to successful prevention and management of any disease with a behavioral component. Let's hear how they do that. Ready to pitch to our judges and to answer their questions potentially is the CEO of Expert, Sebastian Sujka. The stage is yours and your 3 minutes starts now.
Hi, we are Expert and we're doing AI for personalized therapy. One of the biggest problems of our generation is diabetes. Almost 500 million people are affected worldwide. What's worse, over 50% of those do not take medication as prescribed or do not follow recommendations of therapy, with the effect of adverse events and suboptimal health outcomes for the patients and high costs for our society. Why do we have that? I think we think there's 2 reasons for it. On the one side, there's the coverage of support. People have lots of decisions to make every day, see the doctor 2 or 3 times a year, and are left alone with the sum of the decisions by themselves. The other side is the lack of personalization. Everybody is getting the same level of personalization, namely nothing, and those type of dashboards are used to basically enter contextual data. Versus we know that people are not doing this, so this approach is not working. So this is where we come in. We enable pharma companies to support patients every single day at the moment they need it the most. And we do this in a way that's convenient to work with because we can integrate our technology with an SDK into any existing software of any client. So what do? We know that different people need different types of support. So it's absolutely essential to understand what's going on the other side. So that's why we developed a technology harnessing the technology from the sensors of phones and wearables in order to understand what's going on the other side, which means that we can flag and detect in real time and fully automatic a wide range of events. And again, the only thing the user has to do is to have a phone with her. So doing this, we're able to understand what's going on in the context of a patient compared to others, and find situations where therapeutical help might be necessary. And with this, we are really able to provide the care of the 21st century with really intervening or sending out support the moment where it matters in the context that is necessary for this specific person. In terms of competition or positioning, we're the only one with the SDK approach, the only ones that use automatic tracking and pattern recognitions, and the only ones that are able to bring this notifications and this approach in close to real time. As a team, we've done it before. We all successfully founded and exited companies, and we're working on experts since 2015. And where we stand today, we already work with global market leaders in diabetes. We're launching our validation study to prove medical benefits, and we're raising our Series A to expand the offering, since we want to be the leading digital health platform in Europe. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Sebastian. You took it right down to the last fraction of a second there, which is impressive indeed. I am impressed by all of the companies we had pitching here today. They have just done such a brilliant job, and have done a brilliant job to get here in the first place. They are the best of the best. And we actually have a whole section about personalization in a couple of days during Consumers Trends, and I'll be there, so please do join us. Okay, speaking of which, we have an amazing panel of judges here, subject matter experts, world leaders, and we have a hand from Lily Wang from Expon. Thank you so much, Lily Wang from Expon Capital. Please join us over here, and you'll have a chance to chat directly with Sebastian, the CEO of Xbird, and he will have 30 seconds to answer your questions, starting now.
Hi, Sebastian. Thank you so much for your presentation. I was wondering, are you targeting type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes? And in addition, what is your go-to-market strategy?
Thanks for your question, Lily. So we initially started out, as most people in the field, with type 1. And then since we're integrating with customers and like big pharma, there was a big pull towards type 2. So we are now focusing more on the type 2 area. It's the way bigger market. And the go-to-market is we like doing the B2B approach. And I think the update is that we see through COVID, there's a necessity to do like a full solution and license it.
And that is your 30 seconds. Brilliantly done. Thank you. Great question, Lily, once again. We have time for one more question from La Nave, from our wonderful panelists here, from anybody joining us from cyberspace. This is a problem that affects, almost 500 million people globally? And some really interesting technology there. We may have answered all the questions. I don't see any more hands. Okay, we're going to let the judges do some thinking and run up their marks there, and maybe and congratulations there for a good pitch from Xbird and Sebastian. So I told you earlier that South Summit is happening in New York, Singapore, Milan, Buenos Aires, London, Barcelona, and San Francisco. Well, let's beam over to San Francisco and talk to Todd Gotula, who is the co-founder of Clarify Health Solutions and is beaming in to join us from San Francisco right now. So Todd, welcome to South Summit. You've been described as a visionary CEO and CTO, and you have over 20 years of formidable achievements driving growth, innovation, and profitability in the high-tech sector for companies like Advent Software and Tenfold. Tell us a bit about your background and why you founded Clarify Health, Todd. Thank you.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. And I just want to echo what other individuals have said, that this is an incredible conference, and I applaud all those organizations that are striving to have real positive impact on healthcare outcomes worldwide. As you said, my background is in enterprise software development and technology, and had the great fortune of building successful enterprises in other industries, and founded Clarify 5 years ago, ultimately to enable individuals to live better lives. And in the healthcare space, there's essentially 3 ways that you can do that. You can deliver care yourself. I'm not a clinically trained individual, so that was off the table. The second way is to reach out directly to consumers and patients and enable them to experience the healthcare industry in a more positive way. And again, I applaud those organizations that we've heard from today that are doing just that. And then the third is what we do at Clarify, which is basically to enable those that are in the process of either delivering care, developing therapies, to do so in a much better and more informed way. And so we've been on this journey for the last 5 years, developing what we would consider present as the first enterprise analytics platform that truly delivers national and ultimately, over time, global scale insights to unlock or illuminate the black box that exists between the correlations of member or patient state, context of care, and healthcare outcomes, to provide essentially a roadmap for how organizations can deliver better care, develop better therapies, and ultimately, therefore, deliver better outcomes and achieve our goal, which is ultimately to let people and empower people to live better lives.
Fantastic. That's a very inspiring goal. And how did you go about building a business model and tech platform that is able to serve payers, providers, and pharma and biotech companies?
Yeah, and this has been a 5-year journey, and the basis of what it is that separates us from other approaches that have historically been taken is that we set out to acquire knowledge on every healthcare delivery and healthcare outcome in the United States. And so over the course of the last 5 years, we've amassed clinical and claims data on every American. This data asset, de-identified, allows us to create units of observation and analysis that haven't been seen at this scale before. And so we can literally interrogate in real time all care that has been delivered over the course of the last 5 years in this country, thereby allowing us to look at observations and outcomes in a way that again, has not been seen, because we can drill down into the details of any provider, any location of service, any condition, any type of care, whether it's ambulatory, acute, or in the office, to understand what the outcomes are. And then using those outcomes, we can deliver machine learning trained models that are truly open and illuminate the correlated influence or relationship between, as I said before, the state of the member. So what's the impact, for example, on BMI with readmission risk? And be able to inform a clinician that, yes, indeed, we can demonstrate that working with a patient pre-op to reduce their BMI by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points actually has a significant reduction in their readmission risk. So it's not 100% causal, of course, but those correlated demonstrations of impact allow for the better informed decision-making process along the care journey, which again, ultimately leads to better outcomes for all individuals.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for everything you're doing, Todd. That's just so impressive. And I do get the feeling that this is just the beginning of your journey. In terms of this new solution, you're using data that's never been accessed at this scale to build solutions that have never existed on the planet before by using brand new technology. So I think this is absolutely emblematic of the high level of innovative, brilliant thinkers that we love to welcome here to South Summit. So thank you so much for your time. And
thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Cheers, Todd. Cool. Okay, so now it's time to move to a section of the day that is very close to my heart. The next section is all about wellness. And when I say it's very close to my heart, you could take that quite literally as well, because I like to try and eat healthy. I have, I don't eat meat. I cut right down on dairy. I try and do a bit of yoga. I try and meditate. And I really believe that, tools like meditation can improve the quality of your life by helping you to make better decisions from a better place, from the right perspective. And so it's no surprise, really, that because wellness can actually deliver amazing value and amazing results, smart companies are looking at wellness today. It's like a kind of hidden corporate superpower that companies are waking up to. And something like 1/3 of employees for companies who are offered wellness options can increase their commitment and performance. think about that. A third of the employees who are offered wellness options increase their commitment and performance. That is a big differential. It doesn't matter what size your company is, a third of employees. So a metric that can be absolutely transformational to any company. And the future of wellness, I think, is really a mix of the social, emotional, and the technological. But the big question is, how do we move forward? Well, we're going to find out with some of the leaders in this field. But first, it's time to get back to our virtual boxing ring this year and welcome our last pitch, which is from the UK startup called Nourished. Now, their founder and CEO, Melissa Snover, will be explaining how Nourished has developed patented 3D printing technology and a unique vegan encapsulation formula to create the world's first truly personalized vitamin. I like it already. Melissa, please join us on our virtual stage and your 3 minutes with our amazing judges who are paying rapt attention starts now.
My name is Melissa Snover, and I'm the CEO of Remedy Health. At Remedy, our mission is to use 3D printing technology to personalize the health and wellness market because we believe of all things in the world that should be personalized, our health is the #1 priority. In order to do this, my incredible team and I have created an impressive library of IP, including patents on hardware, software, processes, and material science in order to be able to activate multiple different ways of affecting health. We've started to do this with 2 different concepts, Nourished and Scripted. Nourished is the world's first truly personalized vitamin. By using 3D printing technology and a proprietary algorithm, you answer a few short questions on our website, and then a recommendation engine produces a recommendation of 7 nourishments from a vast list of 28 different vitamins, minerals, superfoods, and actives that are best suited to your lifestyle and goals. We then 3D print your product made to order in our Birmingham-based facility, and we ship it to your door every month in plastic-free, home-compostable packaging. What's even more, because we make Nourished fresh to order and encapsulate everything in our patented gels, you get 99.5% efficacy and up to 70% more absorption than traditional vitamin tablets. Nourished launched into the UK market at the very end of 2019 and has amassed 3,000 monthly subscribers in under 8 months. We have steady 20% month-on-month growth and are just at the moment preparing for an autumn launch of our Nourished Kids range, which is directly on the back of feedback we received from our existing customers. Our customers have been very vocal about what they think about the product, and with over 700 5-star customer ratings, we are now the UK's highest rated vitamin. We will be looking to launch the US market in 2021 on the back of a Series A round will start next month. But that's not all. My team and I have also been working with doctors, patient care providers, universities, and health organizations in order to develop new solutions to use 3D printing in curative health using medicine. We've been working on multiple applications, and in the first instance have successfully completed a human trial in a hospital where we provided a way for doctors to create specific personalized dosaging for patients in a live environment. This basically eliminated human error and incorrect dosaging. It eliminates wastage and makes the entire process and the actual application itself more enjoyable for the user, increasing adherence. We're working with a large pharma partner on a clinical trial application, which will speed up clinical trials, reduce their costs, and allow for more medications to be developed for rarer conditions. And in the future, have a vision to create a polychew where we can never again have to take multiple pills at different times during the day. We completed our seed round in 2019 and will be going to our Series A in Q4 of this year, the money of which will go to fund further scripted development and the US expansion. Thank you for your time and happy to take any questions.
Oh my goodness, wow. Using every precious minute of that pitching time with our fantastic judges. Great job there. Melissa Snover from Remedy Health with their product Nourished, already the #1 vitamin in the UK. Impressive progress, interesting subscription model. Does anybody have a question for Melissa about this innovative new market-leading vitamin product in the UK, which is vegan, which I really, really like, and bonus points for that from me. So our judges are deep in thought. They're taking notes, they're evaluating, and we have a question here, yes, from Nina Jetter again. Thank you so much. So Nina, if you'd like to come over here, Nina Jetter from Project A, and then you can have a chat with Melissa Snover directly, and she will have 30 seconds to answer. Thank you.
Hi, Melissa. Thanks so much for the great presentation. I think my question is twofold. First of all, are you also running, let's say, clinical trials on the vitamin product to kind of like bring more trust to the customer? Or like, how do you actually build up trust with your customer base? That's like the first one. The second one is more about what's the pricing for the product in the subscription?
Thank you so much for your question, Nina. That's a great question. So we ran over 10,000 third-party validated tests on the different nutrients, absorbability, and user benefit before we launched the concept. But we are continuing to add more benefits and more nutrients. So those tests are ongoing, and it's all part of our innovative or die life that we have at the business. We work with local universities to do that, and it's very quick turnaround, which is really great and allows us to be very fast. The price point is $39.99 a month in the UK, with half off your first month to get people to encourage trial. Yeah, and at the moment, that seems to be very good value. If you bought 7 of the products individually, it would cost a considerable amount more at the same level of quality.
Using absolutely every second and a few more. So kudos there, fantastic question. Thank you, Nina. So do we have any more questions for Melissa? That was a great answer, very, very thorough. And again, using all the time, these are important people to connect with in the investor ecosystem, in terms of funding, in terms of connections for the future. So, you know, I really appreciate that our startups want to use every second of time they have to impress the judges. And of course, 2 of our startups today will be selected to go through to our grand final in a couple of days. It's so exciting. I'm very excited. Do we have any more questions? One more question for Melissa. Going once. Going twice in La Nave. Okay, we have no more questions. Thank you so much, Melissa. That was a great session. And our judges, our esteemed panel of judges here, our jury, they have been working very hard all day, making notes, evaluating, prioritizing. So we're going to give them a well-earned break. And they can go ahead and deliberate and make up their mind and decide which are the 2 finalists who are going to go through to our grand finale in a couple of days' time. And speaking of which, it's time for all of our startups to take a rest as well. This has been a stressful time, perhaps. They've had to, you know, really distill the essence of everything they need to say to this incredible panel of judges into just 3 minutes. And that is not an easy job. And so I would recommend maybe our startups take a bit of a time out, get a little timer or an app on your phone and try some meditating. You've earned it. You've earned a session meditating. And speaking of which, I myself am a big fan of meditation. I try and do it every day. I don't always succeed, but I find that when I do it, I have better days. It's like a cheat code for life. It's wonderful. And I'm especially thrilled to be welcoming our next speaker to the stage. Joining us all the way from Santa Monica in California is Pablo Pantaleone, who is the VP of Global Strategy and New Ventures at an app you may well have heard of, being Headspace. Welcome to the stage at South Summit, Pablo.
Well, thank you, Ocean, for the invitation. I'm glad to be here, and especially since I'm Spanish and I left Spain 5 years ago. I'm super excited to be in the South Summit. And well, I mean, the main reason because I would recommend mindfulness and meditation, it's the evidence. I mean, the evidence is there. Just as, you know, one example, Headspace has 25 peer-reviewed published studies showing a reduction in stress, anxiety, depression symptoms, increases in focus. So for example, we showed that 30 days of Headspace can reduce your stress by 1/3. And also same period of time, 30 days of Headspace can improve your focus, your attention for 14%. So the evidence is there. And actually, the reason because I'm also meditating, it's not, you know, I learned about meditation when I was 2 years old. And the reality is 5-6 years ago, when I was running my startup, I was so stressed. And then I learned about Headspace, and I started meditating, and then I could feel kind of, you know, the benefits of meditation myself. And since then I've been meditating. And so I really encourage everyone, you know, to try it, you know, and then see if it works for you. yeah, nowadays with COVID, definitely we saw a spike in terms of downloads of Headspace. That was in kind of mid-March. We saw a double in terms of number of downloads. Since then, it has stabilized more around like an increase of 20% of downloads over time, but also an increase of inbound requests from organizations, 500 increase percent, organizations that want to offer Headspace to their employees. So I think it's great to see all these companies that want to support, their employees, and we're glad that we can help. Headspace has been, in business for the last 10 years, and we're a mindfulness company. So although we started deep in meditation, we've been expanding, our content in sleep, and also in other areas like movement, and eat. And also focus. So one of the partnerships that we recently closed was with John Legend as our new Chief Music Officer, where he is kind of curating a list of music to help you increase kind of focus. So that's our focus mode. And then we have many opportunities to partner with startups and other organizations in all these different areas that I just described. So to go beyond meditation. Well, certainly Headspace cannot kind of change the circumstances of our pandemic, but it can definitely help, to really help us approach the day-to-day life in a different way. Meaning, when you feel kind of this, stress or anxiety, definitely you are not getting stuck so much into those feelings and thoughts. So this is what mindfulness and meditation can help you with. So we're glad that we can help so many people around the globe and to cope with all the symptoms during this pandemic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed being part of South Summit.
Oh, fantastic. Well, absolute pleasure to have you here, Pablo. Namaste, as we might say in an ashram. Okay, so I'm glad we had that moment of calm, that moment of headspace, because we have a very exciting moment for you right now. The jury have been deliberating, and they have come up with the 2 finalists who are going to be joining us in a couple of days' time for the grand finale of the South Summit 100 competition. And I believe, Mariella, you have an envelope for us here. Okay, this is pretty exciting. In this envelope, think of those months of work and preparation that have gone into making the perfect 3-minute presentation, pitching it to some of the most important people in the global tech and innovation community. Their names are in this envelope. And I'm just going, wow. Okay, I've opened the envelope and it says Antonio Banderas. I'm not sure what that is, aside from the fact that it means Antonio Banderas will be joining us at South Summit this year. That's some pretty amazing news. I'm not even kidding. You're going to have to tune in a couple of days' time to see the winner of our complete competition, and you're going to have to join us a bit later after the prime time, where we will actually open this envelope and tell you the winners of the South Summit pitching competition in the field of health and well-being. Okay, so we don't actually have Antonio Banderas for you right now, but we've got somebody very close indeed. Now, they are a very brilliant leader in the field of healthcare and well-being, and Jose Marcia is the General Manager at Novartis Oncology Spain. Welcome to South Summit 2020, Jose Marcia.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, perfecto. Wonderful, wonderful. Can you talk to us about the innovative ways that you are approaching cancer diagnosis and treatments, Jose?
Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. Actually, we are at an exciting time in innovation in pharmaceuticals. We are in the middle of an exponential revolution. On one end, there is a biological revolution, mainly driven by the discovery of DNA. And also there is the technology revolution that all of you know, and it's opening up a world of infinite possibilities. The identification and study of genes is helping us to understand greater the biology and development of different diseases, cancer, or multiple and to establish increasingly precise and personalized diagnostic and therapeutical approaches. Definitely, we are now in the area of personalized medicine. As a consequence, new technology platforms in medicine have appeared and are advancing very fast, such as targeted therapies, immunotherapy, gene and cell therapies, or radioligands, that are providing medicines that have the power to cure diseases, such as leukemia. Let me share with you very briefly an example of gene therapy, which is our CAR-T technology. Basically, through CAR-T technologies, we have been able to somehow redecode our own cells. So basically, when a patient has leukemia, we take out the blood of the patient with these cells. So we digitize the cancer cells, and then we put back that blood into the patient. And most likely, the patient will be cured, whereas in the past, the prognostic of this patient was not good at all. So this is an example of how technology is helping us to cure more patients. And the second revolution, as you know, is the technology, right? The arrival of new technologies such as big data, artificial intelligence, or machine learning is providing us with the necessary capacity to analyze large amounts of clinical and preclinical data that we couldn't access before. So as a consequence of these two revolutions, we are seeing incredible improvements in human health, in prevention of diseases, and most importantly, in the acceleration of the clinical development of new drugs. At Novartis, we are working every day to unveil with every medicine that we put in hands more than 4 billion in history, combining our expertise in research and development with the potential of these new technologies that is bringing the most disruptive innovation to patients faster than ever.
Fantastic. And a really quick answer. We only have 30 seconds left. How is Novartis engaging with the innovation and entrepreneurship community? If they're watching, where can they find out more?
Okay, so basically we have partnered, for instance, with Microsoft in a project on big data and clinical trials, also with Amazon, and also at a local level, for instance, in Spain, we are working with Connector, and we launch a startup acceleration program in order to foster and help startups in the world of health in order to come up with innovative solutions for patients. So basically, Novartis, for us, digital and technology and innovation is a key priority, be part of this ecosystem. We believe the future and the present is around collaboration, and we really believe that big corporations such as Novartis need to work with startups, with biotechs, with tech companies, in order to all together come up with revolutionary drugs to improve humans' health.
Absolutely, and we're so grateful to have you join us here at South Summit. This is really a sign of the kind of open, progressive attitude of Novartis to embrace the entrepreneurial community, particularly here in Spain. And if anybody watching us now, they like the sound of that, maybe they have an interesting startup or an idea to engage with Novartis, what would you recommend to be their first step? To reach out to you or to visit our website, or where should they go?
Yeah, they can visit our website, novartis.com or novartis.es, and also, I will make myself available. I love to talk to entrepreneurs. I really like what they do. I envy their jobs many times. So please don't hesitate to contact me through LinkedIn or by email, and I will be more than happy to connect with you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, that's the open arms spirit that we love to see at South Summit. Thank you so much, Jose, for joining us, and thank you for all the great work that you and your colleagues at Novartis are doing. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so there you have it. That's an invitation from Jose at Novartis to reach out to him and send him your best idea. Not all at once. He's a busy man, but make sure it is your best idea. Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier, we're in this very high-tech space. We've decided to do something incredibly different with South Summit this year. So I'm going to show you around, and we're going to have a look behind the scenes and meet the amazing folks on the production team. So here we have our wonderful panel of judges who've joined us in the Nave. Thank you so much. And a good amount of social distancing there, of course. And now we're actually going to go behind the curtain, and you're going to see what happens out here. So here you will see rows and rows and rows of brilliant professionals absolutely at the top of their game in everything from monitoring to producing the effects there, yes, all the way over to the sound department, the scheduling. We've got our director there. We've got the production staff. Hello, we've got Maria there. Hello, Maria. Hola, and there's David, our director. Great, great, great. Some wonderful people. We see how much equipment comes in here. We've actually taken over the entire nave to bring this incredible new program of innovative content to you. So this is not death by Zoom. This is not just a bunch of people talking on screens. This is an entirely new ball game. This is South Summit 2020. So full kudos to all of the team that are doing this. We can see here this amazing mixing desk, monitoring, racks of stuff over here. I think this is all of the radio mics. I don't actually know. But this is just incredible. It's all amazing technology being run by brilliant people. So thank you so much to all of the team here for bringing this all together, the incredible new normal of South Summit 2020. Okay, and now we're going to go back to the show. So now it is time to welcome to the South Summit stage two inspiring leaders in health and wellness. And they're going to have an intimate conversation, which they're very kindly sharing with the many, many thousands of delegates joining us virtually from all over the world. I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Mario Alonso Puig, who is the president of the Center for Health, Wellbeing and Happiness at IE. And he is being joined by Maria Blasco, the director of the Spanish National Cancer Research Center, CNIO, or CNIO, as it's pronounced in Ireland. Mario and Maria, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be with all of you today, and it's an honor to share this panel with somebody like Maria Blasco. Let me explain to all of you some of the features of this great human being. She has been working for 20 years in a field which is absolutely amazing. It's the field of the chromosomes and how we can prolong our lives, how can we in some ways stop the process of aging. And I would like to make the most of this opportunity asking her a question which tries to connect two dots, as Steve Jobs talked about connecting dots, because Maria has a lot of experience working in cancer. As you all know, she's the director of one of the most important cancer research centers in the whole world. And she also works in the field of aging. So my question to you, Maria, would be, what's the relationship between cancer and aging? Because, you know, this track is about health and is about well-being. So how we can connect both different situations. One is the disease, which is cancer, and the other one is our life, so that we can age in a different way.
Thank you, Mario. Hello to everyone that is listening. So actually, we know that normal cells, healthy cells, are mortal. They have a limited lifespan, and then they die, and in part this is what causes aging of the organism. However, cancer cells are immortal, and they are immortal because they are able to maintain structures that protect our chromosomes. They are called telomeres. The discovery of telomeres received the Nobel Prize in 2009, and these telomeres are very important for life. So our normal cells shorten the telomeres as they multiply to renew the tissues. However, cancer cells have discovered, let's say, the key to immortality by maintaining the telomeres forever young. So what we are actually doing is trying to destroy the telomeres of cancer cells in order to cure cancer, but at the same time to try to be able in normal cells to maintain telomeres in order to delay aging or to treat diseases which are associated with aging.
Well, thank you so much, Maria. It's important to highlight the fact that Maria worked with Carol Grader, who won the Nobel Prize in 2009 with Elizabeth Blackburn. And this discovery was absolutely outstanding. And you have been working in this research with telomeres for around 20 years. So it's a fact that we can really live much longer and in a much healthier state, because you have been working with mice and you have prolonged the life of these mice, because mice usually live around 3 years, and you have extrapolated this kind of cure with human beings, and apparently we could live even to 140 years.
Yes, actually, in mice, we have been able to manipulating an enzyme called telomerase, which is able to elongate telomeres, to make telomeres longer. Actually, cancer cells activate telomerase in order to be able to grow indefinitely. So we manipulate this telomerase in mice, and we have been able to extend the lifespan by almost 40%. And this is not that we maintain the mice old for longer. Actually, these mice are young for longer. So when they are chronologically old, they behave like a young mouse. So because they they age more slowly, they also have all diseases associated with aging delay, and they end up living longer. The majority of mice actually reach the maximum lifespan. So right now we are translating this into human disease. So we are interested in treatment of diseases which are degenerative diseases that have no cure, because they are associated to let's say, a state in which it's not possible to reverse aging. And we are using telomerase in order to be able to slow the progression of degenerative diseases in humans. And actually, we are close to fund a new company which is going to be devoted to the treatment of age-related diseases with telomerase activation.
Thank you, Maria. Do you see really any difference when we talk about the biological side? Do you see a big difference between how the mice behave when you work with them and how we human beings would respond to this kind of treatment or process?
Yeah, well, mice are not so different from humans, even though they live much shorter. They end up dying of similar things, of cancer and age-related diseases. So right now in biomedical research, mice are the best model to try to assess what would happen if you would do some intervention in humans. So for instance, something that worried us a lot is whether if we activate telomerase, this is going to end up leading to more cancer in these mice. And we have seen that this is not the case. Even if we try to make the mice to have cancer, putting this telomerase, which is going to delay aging, is not increasing cancer. Actually, we see also a delay in the appearance of cancer, because cancer is also the consequence of aging. When our cells age, they accumulate damage in our DNA, and this also leads to cancer. So if we delay aging, we also delay cancer.
I think one of the beautiful sides of this research is that we know, especially from Dr. Blackburn, who was also awarded with a Nobel Prize, that telomeres in human beings increase in size, in length, through human communication. So emotions really play a role in these structures, which is a beautiful kind of dimension, because we see how biology and what really characterizes human nature, which is our need to be with each other, in some way intertwined. Do you think that could be important in the future, Maria?
Yes, actually, Dr. Blackburn was the first one to correlate stress, perceived stress levels with shortening of the telomeres. So I think there are many factors that can affect our well-being, which are environmental factors or behavior factors, what we eat. And we are seeing that many of these factors are affecting molecular pathways of aging. like telomeres. One of the pathways why, one of the molecular reasons why we age is because telomeres shorten. And we are seeing that some of these things are affecting the rate of telomere shortening. So this tells us there is a lot we can do by our way of life.
Well, I'm very happy that you are such a positive human being, because it's important to remember that we are not cursed by our genes, that we can modify the expression of our genes, that most of our genes are designed to protect our lives. So this is extremely important research. Maria is one of the most significant researchers all over the world. We are extremely proud in Spain of having her as the director of such an amazing place as Thenio. And I want to thank you, Maria, for your very kind presence, for all your work, which is absolutely amazing. As I said earlier, we are extremely proud of having somebody like you in our country doing research with all your team of such a magnitude that can benefit humankind so much. So thank you so much, Maria.
Thank you, Mario. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Wonderful. Bye. And thank you so much. What an inspiring conversation. That was absolutely mind-blowing. What you eat can actually reflect, change your molecular pathways, and we're not cursed with our DNA. We can change it through our lifestyle. That is really a message for everyone to take home and consider today. And it's been a very, very inspiring day overall. Now, Dr. Puig is very kindly going to stay with us for a little while and deliver his closing remarks for the day, which has become a bit of a tradition at South Summit. But first, let me tell you a bit more about his remarkable work. Dr. Puig has over 26 years of clinical practice, and he also studies the impact of mental processes on the development of talent and ability, as well as on health and well-being. He has authored 9 books about leadership, health, well-being and happiness, and he's the professor of leadership, communication, coaching, creativity and stress management at IE and at other schools in Europe. Dr. Puig is a fellow in surgery from Harvard University Medical School, and he has a master's degree in human sciences from Universidad Francisco de Vitoria in Madrid. He is trained at MBSR at the Center for Mindfulness in Medicine, Healthcare and Society at UMass Medical School, and he holds certifications in coaching for leadership and professional development from the Tavistock Institute in London. We are very grateful to have him join us at South Summit today and to deliver his closing words. Mario, thanks as always for your time. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to close this track about health and well-being. There's no question that health and well-being are something of the utmost importance, and we're very proud of all the people who presented their projects so amazing in the sense that they are opening new avenues to increase our health and our sense of well-being. In these very challenging times when we are fighting against this pandemic, it's very important to go beyond the disease and also to look about ways in which we can improve our health, improve our sense of well-being, and improve our happiness. As I was having the conversation with Maria Blasco, we talk about the importance of stress and importance of human relationships. It's crucial in this moment to be really clear about the fact that we need each other, that medicine has to go beyond curing diseases. Medicine has to go beyond preventing diseases. Medicine has to go about improving health, improving our sense of well-being, a sense of happiness. And in order to do that, we need each other. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking so much interest in presenting to all of us all the projects, all the research that has ended in so beautiful presentations, in so beautiful results. So I wish all of you the best of the best. that you really keep working in this field. It has a lot of future because it has a lot of present, and that always put faith, courage, enthusiasm, passion, and also perseverance, because these are very challenging fields. But with these ingredients, with faith, with courage, with passion, with persistence, with determination, and working together, we can overcome any kind of obstacle. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Puig. Those are very, very inspiring words, and we really appreciate you joining us. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Puig and to all of our speakers, startups, and judges for joining us here today at South Summit. And of course, a huge thanks to Maria and the amazing South Summit production team who you met earlier here in La Nave in Madrid, and also working remotely by the magic of the internet and technology. Speaking of which, please do not miss our awesome primetime sessions this afternoon, when you'll hear from leaders like William Shu, the founder of Deliveroo, Anna Butin, Wendy Kopp, the visionary Orby Duguay, and I'm not sure when he's on in the schedule, but pray for mercy. We absolutely do have Antonio Banderas joining us here at South Summit 2020. I'm so excited. That's going to be so cool. So do stay tuned, not only for the prime time, but also for the winner of our startup competition, the winner of the finalists, the two finalists from the health and wellness competition that we've had here today. And we'll find out which two startups are going through to our grand finale on Thursday, where the 9 category winners will battle it out for the main prize at South Summit 2020, where there can only be one winner. I'll be hosting the Consumer Trends session on Thursday, and I hope you can join us for another exciting selection of pioneers, innovators, business and technology leaders. And really what I want to say is please do get involved. You heard the good doctor there. It's all about coming together. It's all about finding this shared inspiration, and we need each other as humans. So South Summit 100, South Summit 2020 is an incredible platform for us all to do just that. So keep in touch, drop me a line, and I'll see you in a couple of days.